Hi there, thank you for joining me for my second video. I'm Kelli Youngman, and today we're going to be talking about a topic that most people hate talking about: finances.
Yay!
Okay, before you turn this video off, just hear me out. I never in a million years thought that I would be passionate and excited to talk about finances. Never, 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 never. I have hated talking about money. It's given me so much stress over the years. Budgeting.
Yuck.
So I'm just as shocked as you are that I'm about to start talking about money. Full disclaimer, I am not a professional finance coach or financial advisor, so take all of this with a grain of salt. But these are some of the things that I've learned over the past few months that I just thought might be helpful to someone. The first thing I wanted to shout out was the Actors Fund. They are 100% responsible for my newfound love of finances. Shout out to Rebecca. Thank you. If you are in the field of performing arts in any capacity, you have access to these resources. Definitely check it out. I'm going to put a link in the description below to see their upcoming courses. Right now, they're offering so many through Zoom, and you can take them right at home. If you're in the position to help, I'm also going to put a link down below to where you can donate to support the Actors Fund as they continue to support all of us in the industry. My love of finance started when I took a class back in January of 2020. It was a 6-week course all about budgeting. One of the first things we did in the course was we printed out 6 months of our bank statements, and we added everything up to find the average of what we spend in each specific category, such as eating out or transportation, your fixed expenses, your variables, all those you figure out, and that is like the biggest chunk of work that you'll do, but having that data will give you the information to make better choices about how you're spending your money, and also just so you know. Like, I can't tell you how many months I went not knowing, but just kind of going by the seat of my pants and like, yeah, it all kind of evens out. But if you're not paying attention specifically and tracking, you don't know where your money's going. And that's like crazy. Okay, not crazy, but no judgment, because I've been there. But it is kind of crazy. So while we have this time, I'm going to suggest that you take a look at your last 6 months of statements, add it all up, and figure out what you're spending in each of your categories. I was telling this to my sister, and she was saying, it's kind of hard because right now our spending is completely different. But I also think that's kind of a good thing because you're able to see that
I'm getting by without going to get my special latte or my iced coffee.
Not saying that you're not allowed to treat yourself. Believe me, I'm the queen of treat yourself, and that's how I've gotten in this current financial situation. But I think it's also empowering to say, hey, maybe I can rein it in on this category. I can spend a little less on this. Just reevaluate how you want to spend your money and if what you're spending your money on is actually adding to your goals and the life that you want to be building. The second thing regarding finances that I thought I'd mention is student loans.
Yay!
I don't know about you, but student loans have always been kind of a mystery. Just knowing the terminology, what it all means, paying it back, and just looking at that number can be really intimidating. So again, through the Actors Fund, I was introduced to this organization called EdCap through CSS, New York. CSS stands for Community Service Society, and they have a whole section just devoted to student loans. That is Education Debt Consumer Assistance Program. That's a mouthful. But I was able to have a one-on-one session with them this week to just talk through my student loans, figure out if I'm on the right payment plan. They kind of demystified everything that was surrounding my federal student loans and just made sure I'm moving in the right direction, especially with the administrative forbearance that's being allowed right now. you might be concerned, but they can answer all of those questions and just make sure that you're educated and empowered to keep moving towards your financial freedom. Another thing, just throwing this out there that I did not know until this week, was that even if you are not on a public service loan forgiveness program, if you have a federal student loan, after a certain amount of time, you are still eligible for loan forgiveness if you have federal student loans. So it's worth it just to investigate, make sure that you know everything so that you can make educated decisions about your loans for yourself. If you haven't logged on to FSA, that is going to be my next task for you. Make a login. It just breaks it down, gives you a little bit of overview about your student loans, aside from what your specific provider or servicer might be showing you. The last thing I wanted to talk about is credit cards. If you have any balance on your credit cards right now because of the pandemic, you can actually call your servicer or the bank and ask them if they can waive the interest or any fees that you might have on your account.
It is a little bit of a pain in the butt because you have to wait on hold for a while.
But it's worth it, and especially right now, every little bit counts. Also, for anyone that's looking for a more long-term solution, I was able to call my credit card company and get put on a hardship program. If you've been carrying a balance that you're just trying to pay off, you don't really need the card anymore, this might be a good option for you. Weigh the pros and cons, because in many cases you may be required to close the account or close the card, and that again depends on your current situation and if that's something you're wanting to do. But for example, I'm going to be just completely transparent. I had a card that had $4,400 on it that I kind of had used during other periods of unemployment, but
I don't really use the card. I don't need the account anymore. I've just been trying to pay it down.
So by entering this hardship program, I will be closing the account, but I was able to get on an agreement of a $75 a month payment and lock in a 0% interest rate for 5 years. What? That's crazy. So if you are going to go this route, one of the important things to make sure is that if you decide to pay more than the minimum, will your interest rate be affected? In my case, my interest will not be affected. So if I choose to pay more than the minimum $75 a month, I can pay the card off faster. So not only will I be saving so much on the interest of what I would have paid over 5 years, I can pay the card off faster. I can use that additional money to pay off my student loans and just work towards financial freedom. Like I said, I am not a professional finance coach, but if I can learn these things, so can you. And there are so many resources out there. So don't be intimidated. And having a relationship with your money is the same as having a relationship with your friends or your family or yourself. There are so many taboos and feelings that surround money, but we just don't talk about them. So there's no shame in saying like, hey, I just don't get it. I don't understand where I should start. So yeah, I'm gonna link a few of my other favorite resources down below. But if you have any other questions, or if there's anything else that you'd want to follow up about regarding this stuff, leave a comment below and I'll do my best to support you. I hope this video at least empowers you to start small. Maybe just look at your statements and create the categories that you have your spending in. You know, do a little bit each day and don't get discouraged. Even just by looking into some of these resources, it's taking a small step, and that's a victory already. Because like everything else in life, you are capable and you are worthy and you can do it. So cheers to that and have a great rest of your week. Bye.